All right, so now let's talk about the defensive coordinator. Just a little bit more, chill. We need to get into this a little bit more because we kind of splitting ways. Now, hear me out, chill. This don't sound crazy because it's Ohio State, but you gotta follow with me just a little bit here on the story, right?
Listen.
Now, it was rumored. Now it's fun. Now it was rumored we spent over $20 million in NIL for this past season, right? And it worked out, right? We won. We national champions, number one in the nation. Spent a lot of that money getting guys to come back. We retained a lot of talent, and it's because of that we did well, right? We was able to win. Now, also, we got a few pieces here and there. Them guys probably, got a decent, not probably, they got a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
Now we're national champions, right? Now we got a guy guys that's unproven. No, I'm not gonna say unproven, but they haven't been starters.
Yeah, they're not getting the same money.
They're not getting that same money, right? You're not paying McDonald the same money you was paying Tyler Williams to come back to play defensive tackle. It just didn't happen, right? So I feel like this year might be a year that Ohio State roster could maybe you not spend so much because you got a lot of stuff you need to be proven to see if we have do we need to kick in those extra funds to kind of make this thing work. And due to that, I'm thinking that we promote internally for that defensive coordinator position, and maybe we take a Matt G, if he's that young mind that we think he has, we put him back in that role and see if he could prove it. And obviously, he's going to do it at a fraction of the cost that we was going to pay Jim Knowles to be the coordinator. And that's another, I don't know if Ohio State is trying to save money. I have no idea. But it'd be a good way for us to say, like, once again, we could cut down on some spending. You put a young guy there to see if he has that potential, and same as naturally we're going to come down on some of that cost is due to, once again, us not having the need to retain so many guys.
Yeah. So I would say this, and we always view these top programs like Ohio State, Oregon, some of the teams, Texas, and others, as if they got an unlimited number to spend. Right? They just got nothing is unlimited. Money runs out. No matter at every level, money runs out. Maybe if you're Bill Gates, it doesn't, but money runs out at some point. So there is something to, like, we put all our chips in the middle of the table. We spent all the money to keep our guys. We went and got Caleb Downs. We went and got all these guys. We spent the money. Now this is a year we only got the same guys, and we also got to balance the books a little bit, right? Like this isn't the government where we could just keep taking on a bunch of debt and never actually deal with the consequences.
You could just keep printing money, right?
Right. But the challenge I have a little bit, and I like Matty G. I think he's a guy who can really connect with people, really can understand and influence and motivate guys just from afar. I don't I haven't spent a ton of time with him, but I've met him. Obviously, he's an Ohio guy. Grew up in Ohio, etc. So you think about wanting to be at Ohio State and staying at Ohio State. He seems like one of the guys that fits that category. What I'm challenged with a little bit is I don't know the aspirations of the other defensive coaches, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who may feel like they are the guys who are next in line to be a coordinator. And I'm talking specifically about a guy like Tim Walton, who, he has D coordinator experience, and they call him OG Walt. Like, he's the OG. Like, is the OG too old at this point to actually be put in a position to lead a defense? So I think I'm challenged there. And I mentioned it before, but I like maybe pursuing a guy like John Heacock. John Heacock at Iowa State in the Big 12, they run a little kind of the same type of defensive scheme that Knowles runs. So you're not disrupting the scheme so much, right? You get a guy who's a little bit older, has been around football a little bit longer, who, if you bring a guy like that in, it doesn't necessarily feel like, the guy who has less experience than me is getting the job over me, right?
Okay.
John Heacock, who coached at Youngstown State, right? Whose brother, Jim Heacock, was my defensive coordinator at Ohio State. And when Jim Heacock was getting a little up there, there was a young guy, smart defensive mind named Luke Fickell, who was on staff, who became the co-defensive coordinator at Ohio State. So to me, I feel like a guy like Matty G, who you may feel like should be put in that position, can be packaged with a guy like John Heacock as co-defensive coordinator to continue to develop and being kind of the defensive coordinator in waiting as being an Ohio guy and having that opportunity in the future. To me, that feels like the safer approach in terms of keeping everything set, running the same style of defense with a little bit of a shifts, given that Larry Johnson has a certain philosophy for his defensive line, being able to mesh that. I think a guy like John Heacock likely is just going to be, at this point, he's going to be a defensive coordinator in college football. It's likely going to be the last thing. And Ohio State's probably the pinnacle of what he'll be doing. To me, that's my pick. That's my pick for D coordinator. That's the one I'm gonna throw. I haven't seen anybody talking about it. That's my pick right now.
I got you. I looked it up because, like I said, I think it's a chance. We don't know the books. Yeah. It's a chance Ohio State might be once again. And maybe this 25 team prove himself a little bit before they go all in money wise. John Heacock currently has a salary at $850,000 at Iowa State in the Big 12.
So you're talking about saving money, right? Give him a bump. Give him a bump, man. Give him $1 million and then take the other $1 million that was going to Jim Knowles or the 1.7 that you reportedly would have given to him if you paid him 2.7 this year, and spread it around, man. Give Matty G a little bump in salary there. Make him co-defensive coordinator. Give Tim Walton some money. All those recruits he's bringing in. Yeah. All those guys he's bringing in,
all those raps he's putting down the memory.
Man, he's bringing the guys in. He's developing. He's spitting game to him. He's rapping. Pay the man. Give him a bump in salary. Give Larry Johnson, who's been there for a while, just a little bump. I think he's made a lot of money already. Give him a little bump. But Tim Walton, reward those guys, man. You'll still have some left over, right? You'll still have some left over to bump up James Laurinaitis as well. And maybe even Hardline. Spread the money around. Spread the money around. Bring in a guy like John Heacock as kind of the overseer of the defense and continue to keep things set. And, this will be a group of guys who will want to be at Ohio State, likely aren't looking for a ton of other jobs. These are guys with ties to Ohio. I think it'll be a great opportunity. And, I think one thing this past year that Ryan Day has learned is with his position as kind of the CEO of the team now, and his involvement in defense and his hand in, what he wants to see in terms of, reaching goals, what we need to do in terms of pass rush, pressure, coverage, etc. I think he realizes that, I want to have a little bit more influence on what my team is going to do. That's the best way to go about it. I think this last year was a success, regardless of what actually happened at the end with Jim Knowles leaving. Yeah. And if there was a real rift between the two after that Oregon game, the end result was a success. So find a guy who could fit into that same type of process that you feel comfortable to get it done and will likely take that, work collaboratively and make sure that the defense is as good as possible. I think John Heacock's the guy. That's my guy right now.
Yeah, man. I want to hit on something else. Now we to open this back up. You said something there that I wanted to kind of hit a little bit on. That you brought up the fact that that now that the coordinator position was open, a lot of people kind of mad at Knowles because they felt like there's a rumor going around that he reached out to Penn State for that position. And I guess we want to kind of nip that in the bud. I mean, he has an agent, right? And his agent's job is to make him the most money because as an agent, the more money my client make, the more money I make. So now that Ohio State has an opening, there's going to be a lot of agents in Ohio State selling their guys a service from wherever they're currently doing to Ohio State because they know there's money there to be made because they have to, once again, hire for that position.
So that's funny. Jim Knowles reached out to Penn State. Imagine Jim Knowles on the phone. Can I get James Franklin, please? Hey, James, I heard y'all lost your defensive coordinator. Hey, I'm interested in the job.
Yeah,
what do y'all? What you thinking?
I could be available, man. Call me a number.
I'll say 2.7. What you think? Can you give me 3? Nah, man, they got agents, y'all.
Yeah,
They got agents, bro.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know, the agents get paid well, and that's what they do.